This was $400 million worth of gold, but underwater it felt 10 times heavier. No matter how hard the three divers pushed, they couldn't move it. Fortunately, the cable car on the submarine helped, and the trolley slowly began to move forward. However, after pushing for a while, an accident occurred. As they were still grieving over the recent death of their friend, one of the officers revealed a shocking secret. The salvage operation had long been planned by the investors. As soon as they surfaced, the Coast Guard would arrest them. In that case, they would gain nothing and end up in prison. At first, Mark didn't believe it until he heard that the officer himself had participated in the plan. Realizing that the investor was someone he had introduced, Mark finally believed it and immediately flew into a rage. After calming down for a moment, Mark decided to head south, reaching an abandoned port in Turkey. This way, they could evade the Coast Guard. However, they had to pass through a dangerous gorge. Though the risk was high, for the gold, they decided to take the gamble. Then, the crew polished the drive shaft of the German submarine and installed it. In this way, a submarine that had almost been scrapped came back to life instantly. But not long into the dive, a dispute broke out among the crew in the engine room, causing the engine operator to die. Shortly after, the pressure gauge showed an abnormal reading. The cook tried to repair it using the skills he had just learned, but less than 2 seconds after opening it, an explosion occurred. As soon as they reached the seabed, seawater began flooding in massively, almost filling the entire engine room instantly. Just as the crew was about to escape, Daniels unhesitatingly closed the hatch. The crew inside struggled desperately, but in the next moment, the explosion, combined with water pressure, quickly broke through the steel door that had just been closed. When Daniels closed the second hatch, he found his belt stuck in the door seam. By this time, the screws had been blown out by the water pressure, and the seawater was about to burst in. The arriving crew saw that only Daniels came out and realized he had acted selfishly again, so they decisively abandoned him. Upon reaching the final compartment, Mark found 3 life jackets. After 2 of them put on the life jackets, Mark opened the torpedo launcher, preparing to launch them. Tobin asked him how they would get out, and Mark said there was another automatic escape pod. Then the 2 entered the launch tube. With Mark's launch, they quickly reached the surface. At this point, Tobin still wanted to wait for Mark, but the officer told him there was no automatic escape pod. Before long, a life jacket surfaced, filled with gold. This meant that Mark was left to sink forever to the seabed.